In Topeka's capital, a congressional session hummed with strain. The air grew dry, charged with unspoken friction. Pens clinked, papers rustled, murmurs filled the overheated chamber. The Education Policy Panel, now in its third hour, turned personal. Representative Jasmine Crockett sat tall, silent in her blue blazer. Her poised restraint hinted at a calculated pause, not disengagement. Across the table, Karoline Leavitt, a sharp-tongued aide, appeared restless. Once a TV pundit, she now pushed federal education reforms aggressively. Leavitt's defensive posture betrayed irritation, especially toward Crockett's commanding presence. When Crockett spoke, her voice rang firm yet measured. "You're implying underserved schools lack effort," she challenged directly. Leavitt's arms crossed, her seat shifted uncomfortably. "Standards must apply universally," she retorted, tone clipped. Crockett's response was swift. "Fairness requires access, not just rules." Her words landed with precision, eyes locked on Leavitt. "History matters," she added, voice steady as stone. Leavitt scoffed softly, unaware her microphone remained active. Leaning left, she whispered, "Go back to Africa," voice crisp. The words bled through speakers, sharp and unmistakable. A cough broke the stunned silence, papers shuffled nervously. A black intern near the media table froze, eyes darting to Leavitt. C-SPAN's live feed captured every second, unfiltered. Spectators glanced at Crockett, expecting an outburst or exit. She remained still, hands folded, gaze unwavering. Her slow blink conveyed quiet strength, not shock. The subcommittee chair, an Idaho veteran, cleared his throat awkwardly. "Let's stay focused," he urged, voice strained with unease. Leavitt sipped water, ears reddened, betraying her realization. She acted unfazed, but the hot mic had spoken. Crockett's steady look pierced Leavitt, exposing her without a word. "You've shown yourself," her eyes seemed to say silently. She jotted a note, letting the session proceed calmly. Those 10 seconds spoke louder than any speech could. The clip spread online before the panel even adjourned. Reporters zoomed on Leavitt's face, her muttered words looping. Within minutes, "Go back to Africa" trended, sparking outrage nationwide. Crockett's silence held power. Would she speak? Share your thoughts below. Subscribe for her next move. The internet blazed with outrage as Leavitt's video spread rapidly. Before the Topeka session ended, your "Go Back to Africa" surged nationwide. Reporters zoomed on Karoline's face, her whispered slur looping endlessly. Within 20 minutes, memes flooded X, dissecting her tone. Phones buzzed with notifications, hashtags, piling up relentlessly. Karoline's team sensed disaster, retreating from the Capitol chamber. Her aide, Brian, in a charcoal suit, strode quickly beside her. "Claim it was misheard," he murmured, shielding her from cameras. Hallways echoed, with journalists clamoring at the exit. "I mumbled," Karoline snapped. Her stride quickened with defiance. She insisted no one heard her words clearly. Yet, the audio's clarity, sharp, raw, betrayed her dismissiveness. They slipped into a staff corridor, avoiding the press mob. Karoline's phone vibrated, texts from allies flashing urgently. Some raged, others cautioned, but none defended her remark. A response was crafted hastily, polished for damage control. "Miss Leavitt was misinterpreted due to ambient noise," it claimed. The public rejected it, furious at the familiar deflection. People weren't just upset, they felt weary of recycled excuses. The pattern, offense, denial, spin, exhausted the nation's patience. Meanwhile, Jasmine Crockett remained silent, her calm unwavering. Reporters trailed her to the Capitol's elevator, microphones thrust forward. "Congresswoman, will you address Leavitt's slur?" one asked boldly. She pressed the button, her glance brief but piercing. Not yet, she replied, voice steady and deliberate. That yet sparked intrigue, igniting debates across platforms. Supporters praised her restraint, calling it dignified strength. Critics dubbed it staged, a calculated political maneuver. In a Topeka cafe, staffers huddled, replaying the video intently. "This'll explode," one muttered, eyes fixed on glowing screens. Jasmine, unhurried, dined with her mother at her hotel. Texarkana's warmth grounded their quiet meal under cloudy skies. "You'll speak," her mother said, voice soft but certain. Jasmine nodded, gazing at city lights flickering outside. "It'll surprise them," she whispered, resolving the hardening silently. Karoline, sleepless, watched news loops in her suite. Her phone buzzed. Donors, colleagues, all distancing themselves swiftly. "It slipped," she told Brian, who watched with concern. The narrative slipped too. Would Crockett seize it? Share predictions below. The Topeka Capitol buzzed with anticipation at 10 a.m. Journalists lined hallways, cords snaking across tiled floors. Sipping stale coffee, they watched phones for updates. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett approached, the podium, alone, folder in hand. Her blue blazer radiated calm, presence commanding silence. Cameras clicked as she grasped the microphone firmly. She paused briefly, ensuring every eye focused intently. "I planned a prepared address," she began, voice steady. She closed her folder, choosing unscripted truth instead. "Yesterday's slur wasn't new," she declared, tone measured. "I've heard go back since my teens," she recounted calmly. In Shreveport, an elder scorned her direct gaze. On flights, in elevators, boardrooms whispered it subtly. "I wasn't stunned," she continued, eyes piercing the lens. "I was surprised others expected my shock," she noted. The room stilled, journalists' pens halted, breathless. "Telling someone to go back questions their belonging," she explained. "It's about value, not citizenship," she emphasized, clearly. Her voice carried resolve, unyielding yet composed. "I'm staying," she asserted, words echoing through screens. The line landed in homes, shops, schools nationwide. "My father showed me this Capitol," she recalled vividly. At 11, she doubted her place here. "I ran anyway," she said, strength igniting listeners. "Belonging doesn't need perfection," she stated firmly. "We belong because we're human," she affirmed boldly. "Ancestors' work built this nation," she reminded powerfully. "If that unsettles someone, they face it," she concluded. She stepped away, folder closed, no questions taken. The briefing ended, but her words lingered heavily. Phones lit up, supporters cheered, some texted privately. Even rivals messaged, "You spoke for many." Meanwhile, Karoline Leavitt paced, her hotel suite restlessly. News loops replayed Crockett's address, her poise undeniable. Karoline's phone buzzed, donors, allies, all withdrawing support. "It slipped," she told Brian, voice barely audible. He watched silently, worry etched on his face. Her defiance crumbled, isolation settling in slowly. The narrative shifted. Crockett's clarity now led. Her speech sparked protests, not hashtags, but stories. Will Crockett's words reshape discourse? Share your thoughts below. The nation stirred with tales after Crockett's poignant address. Her video exploded, millions watching before noon. Viewers replayed it, craving its resolute strength. Screens lit up in barbershops, classrooms, porches. In Toledo, Ohio, Reggie, a diner regular, sipped coffee. "She's got steel," he told, his waitress, voice firm. In Flagstaff, Arizona, a Navajo educator paused her lesson. She projected Crockett's words, students silent in awe. "That's standing tall," she said, eyes gleaming. In Fresno, California, Bill, a veteran, posted, online. "She spoke for many," he wrote, breaking silence. Yet some resisted, twisting the narrative on airwaves. A Des Moines host ranted, "She's playing victim." Callers split. Some agreed, others defended Crockett's truth. "She didn't yell," one said, voice cutting through. Karoline Leavitt stayed quiet, her team scrambling again. Their polished response offered regret, not admission. Words were misconstrued, it claimed, dodging accountability. Social media tore it apart, rejecting hollow excuses. That night, Caroline paced an Arlington townhouse. Lights dimmed. She watched Crockett's address, its fire undeniable. "She's winning," she muttered, eyes weary with strain. Brian, her aide, nodded. "You can't spin this." "It slipped," she whispered, voice cracking with regret. The moment grew beyond them, a cultural reckoning. In Madison, Wisconsin, students packed an auditorium. Their panel shifted to identity, belonging, Crockett's voice looping. In Mobile, Alabama, barbers paused, razors still, debating. "She didn't swing," one said, respect in his tone. Crockett felt the weight, alone in her apartment. Lights low, water glass in hand, she avoided news. Her phone buzzed, a senator's text, unexpected, conservative. "Powerful," it read, requesting a meeting soon. Crockett stared. The world, heavier than ever. Her words had shaken loose a deeper dialogue. People shared experiences, not just hashtags, online. A trucker near Wichita caught it on the radio. Teens in Eugene, Oregon, debated it in chats. The moment sparked talk of civility, not division. Crockett's pause, her clarity, resonated far beyond Topeka. Leavitt's isolation deepened. Would she respond? Share your reactions below. Days later, dialogue simmered across America, Crockett's words enduring. Her address reached beyond Topeka, touching ordinary souls. Truckers near Wichita heard replays, on crackling radios. Teens in Eugene, Oregon, debated in buzzing group messages. Protests erupted in Sioux Falls, signs reading, "Words carry weight." Jasmine Crockett read letters, her hands steady with purpose. A Boise girl's note, with a podium drawing, struck deep. "You're like Mom, calm, strong," the fifth grader wrote. That paper stayed pinned, a quiet anchor. Crockett spoke to interns, no cameras rolling. "Aim forward, not viral," she advised softly. "Consistency trumps noise," she urged, eyes warm yet firm. Her restraint lauded as masterful. Some felt she spared Leavitt. In Birmingham, activist Lori Price live-streamed her critique. "Words demand change," she insisted, voice cutting sharply. "Regret means little without cultural shift." Talk shows dissected, one calling it "Truth's Quiet Power." Karoline Leavitt's silence stretched, her polished regret unconvincing. Protesters dogged her in Sioux, her statement faltering. That night, in Arlington's shadows, she stood before a mirror. Makeup gone, her gaze heavy. She watched news loops. "I need to learn," she told Robert, voice low. Her aide, Brian, nodded, sensing a crack in defiance. "This transcends careers," he said, concern etched deeply. The moment cracked open. Civility, not just race. Crockett's poise lingered, a beacon for resilience. Her words fueled tales, not just trending tags. A mobile barber paused, mid-cut, admiring her grace. "No yelling, just strength," he said, scissors still. In Atlanta, a teacher replayed it. Students rapped. "That's dignity," she noted, voice thick with pride. Crockett felt it. Alone, lights dim in her suite. Avoiding news, she sipped water, phone buzzing softly. A senator's text, conservative, Texas, offered respect. "Let's meet," it urged, a bridge unexpected. The dialogue deepened, stories outweighing slogans online. Leavitt's isolation grew, her narrative slipping. Away. She muttered, "It slipped." But conviction waned. Robert stayed quiet, his worry now palpable. The nation grappled. Would Leavitt evolve? Crockett's influence soared, her silence speaking loudest. Will this spark lasting change? Share your views below. The nation pulsed with discourse, Crockett's, words fueling change. Her address sparked a movement beyond Topeka's halls. Crowds gathered in Charleston, torches glowing for equity. Classrooms paused to discuss belonging, her voice resonating. A South Carolina educator showed Crockett's video, sparking debate. "What's belonging?" she asked, students' hands rising eagerly. One replied, "It's existing without explaining yourself." Her words echoed Crockett's, a quiet revolution unfolding. In Atlanta, barbers swapped tales, scissors pausing mid-cut. "She showed strength without shouting," one said, voice warm. Jasmine's office overflowed with letters, each a personal story. A Boise child's drawing still anchored her desk. She mentored interns, urging, "Stay true, not loud." Her grace changed perceptions, hallways now nodding respectfully. A Montana congressman stopped her, eyes earnest. "You spoke for the unheard," he said, voice low. Meanwhile, Karoline Leavitt stepped back, avoiding media glare. Her regret, though polished, failed to quell protests. In Columbus, Ohio, she met youth advocates quietly. A student challenged, "What shifted you?" Voice direct. "Being called out," Leavitt admitted, eyes softened slightly. No cameras caught it. Just listening, not performing. Her aide, Brian, noted, "This feels different." Leavitt's silence wasn't retreat, but a tentative reckoning. She muttered, "I need to unlearn," voice barely audible. The moment transcended scandal, touching kitchens, break rooms. In Wichita, a trucker shared it over coffee steam. "She didn't swing, she stood," he said, nodding approval. Ex-post spread, "Charger Equity Now," uniting voices across divides. A Fresno veteran posted, "Crockett's bigger than politics." The media moved on, chasing new scandals, but this lingered. In Mobile, a retiree said, "Her pause hit hardest." Crockett felt the weight, her phone buzzing with support. A Texas senator's text proposed collaboration, bridges forming. Policy talks stirred. Equity in school funding gained traction. Leavitt supported it. No fanfare, just a vote. No photo ops, just quiet alignment with Crockett's push. The hearings echo drove discourse, not just outrage. People asked, "Who belongs?" In diners, churches, chats, Crockett's clarity reshaped how strength was seen. Will this movement redefine civility? Share your thoughts below. The nation buzzed with impact, Crockett's words igniting change. Her address fueled a movement for equity, enduring. Voices rose in diners, churches, classrooms, seeking civility. In Charleston, a teacher began semesters with Crockett's video. "Define belonging," she urged, students debating with passion. A girl answered, "It's claiming space unapologetically." Crockett's influence grew, staffers flocking to her office. Young aides sought her, drawn by steady resolve. "You defended the voiceless," a Montana lawmaker said. His nod in Capitol halls marked quiet respect. Jasmine mentored, her advice sharp yet warm. "Stay human," she told the interns, no spotlight needed. Letters piled high, a Boise child's drawing prominent. Her words reshaped strength, not loud but lasting. In Atlanta, a barber said, "She taught without yelling." His clippers paused, respect in his tone. Karoline Leavitt's actions shifted, no cameras chasing her. She met advocates in Columbus, listening intently. "I'm unlearning," she told a youth, eyes clear. Her regret evolved, not performative, but earnest effort. Brian, her aide, saw growth. This feels real. Leavitt avoided the media, choosing quiet accountability over spin. Words weigh heavy, she admitted, voice soft. The moment lingered in break rooms, not headlines. A Wichita retiree said, her pause spoke loudest. X amplified her equity now, uniting voices beyond politics. A Fresno teacher posted, Crockett's bigger than fame. Policy gained ground. School funding equity bills advanced. Crockett co-sponsored. Leavitt backed it. No fanfare. Their votes aligned, a subtle bridge forming silently. No photo ops, just shared purpose in action. The hearing's echo drove discourse, not fleeting outrage. In Mobile, a veteran nodded. She stood firm. Crockett's phone buzzed. Cross-party texts offered collaboration. A Texas senator's note read, "Let's build together." Protests lit torches, flickering for systemic fairness. The media chased new stories, but this stayed alive. In Eugene, teens texted, "Belonging's worth fighting for." Crockett's clarity redefined power, not shouting but being. Leavitt's redemption began, small steps toward amends. The nation asked, "Who belongs?" in everyday spaces. Act now. Demand equitable laws. Call Congress. Silence stalls progress. Will this reshape America's core? Share your vision below. The nation reshaped by resolve. Crockett's influence endured. Her event ignited a movement, redefining civility's core. Voices lingered in classrooms, diners, hearts across America. In Charleston, a teacher's question echoed, "Who belongs?" Students answered, "Everyone, no explanation needed." Crockett's clarity drew aides, seeking her steady guidance. "You gave us a voice," a staffer said, eyes bright. Her office held letters, Boise's drawing still central. "Stay true," she told the interns, her mentorship profound. In Atlanta, a barber nodded. She taught without rage. His words carried weight, clippers silent in respect. Jasmine's resolve redefined power, quiet, not loud. A Montana lawmaker texted, "You changed the game." Capital nods grew, her presence now undeniable. Karoline Leavitt walked a quieter path, steps deliberate. In Columbus, she listened to advocates, no spotlight. "I'm learning," she said, voice soft but earnest. Her regret turned real, not scripted for cameras. Brian, her aide, saw it. "You're finding ground." Leavitt's meetings with youth built bridges, not headlines. "Words matter," she told a student, eyes clear. The hearing's echo lived in kitchens, not newsreels. A Wichita retiree said, "Her pause outlasted noise." Equity Now trended, uniting voices for fairness. A Fresno educator posted, "Crockett's truth endures." Equity funding laws passed, Crockett's name on them. Leavitt voted yes, no fanfare, just quiet support. Their alignment, subtle, spoke louder than photo ops. In Mobile, a veteran said, "She stood, didn't scream." Crockett's phone buzzed. Cross-party offers for collaboration. A Texas senator wrote, "Your vision builds futures." Protests blazed torches, demanding systemic justice. The media chased scandals, but this story stayed alive. In Eugene, teens vowed, "Belonging's our fight." Crockett's pause taught strength without cruelty's sting. Leavitt's growth, though small, showed accountability's start. The nation reflected, asking, "Who shapes civility?" In Topeka, a TSA agent stopped Jasmine, voice warm. "You showed quiet power," she said, eyes gleaming. Jasmine smiled. "I didn't expect this reach." The event wasn't a scandal. It was a choice. Crockett chose clarity. Leavitt faced her mirror. Act now. Push equity laws. Call Congress. Silence halts progress. This story's lesson lasts. Share it. Subscribe for tales that redefine us.